following the somewhat disastrous leak, where we now have about, I don't know how much is down there. When I get it out, I'm gonna measure it. So I suppose, trying to look on the bright side, it gives me an opportunity to clean all of my borelocks, take my taps off, clean out my taps, take these John Guests off, clean these John Guests out, and then I'm going to take all of the kegs out one by one gently, and then put them down next to a puppy over there. After obviously washing the bottoms of them, I'll put them on an old towel or something, and then we're going to oik all this out, possibly through the drain, or possibly just using a wet and dry vac, and then pour it into a spare fermenting bucket and see how much we've got. And then give everything a good clean and explain how it all works for people who are not really very familiar with Keezers. Right, so let's start getting these offed and then the kegs out. These are the only ones that are going to go back in. I've got one that I need to bottle, and the other one I'm going to fucking throw away. And then there's another one which has got next to nothing left in it, so I'm just going to pop that in the fridge and drink it tonight without it going back in here. This is our bath of beautiful raspberry effervescent, and I don't know, I'm now looking at it like this, I'm starting to feel really a bit angry and sad. Angry at myself, not at anything else. Angry at myself for not checking a simple thing like how tightly a John Guest fitting was screwed onto a ball lock. So that's not a mistake I shall make again. That will be a part of my regular checking. But now I suppose we need to get this lot out. I could either use the drain hole, but I think I'm actually probably just going to use a big wet and dry vac and then chuck it into a spare fermenting bucket. I've got a couple over there. Let's see exactly how much we have lost. What a shitter. This isn't a view you get very often, boys and girls. I'm actually outside at Boat House. There's a little sign up there. And this is something that I really hate doing. This is the first time I've ever chucked almost a full corny keg away. This is the not quite alcohol free, but not quite drinkable either. It's really astringent, and I know what it was. I just stupidly over hopped it, and not a lot of that's going down the fucking drain, is it? Oh bollocks. Oh well, there you go. There's about 16 litres of shit double dry hopped, low alcohol. But it was an experiment. It was one that I did while we was out here one sunny day, and it was just reusing, you know, it's a second mash. And yeah, you know, it was worth doing. All it's cost me really is the electric for the boil and the hops that I chucked in. But we get the experience from it, which is equally valuable, which is don't stupidly over hop them. And it was incredibly astringent. So anyway, it's gone now, fuck it. Right, so I've got now 4 cornies. Well, I will have when I bottle the other Good Mood. So I think I'm going to start star sanding some bottles. So I might weigh the Good Mood, see how much there is. Get those soaking while I get this out. Oh God, you Poor fucker. And that was just perfect as well. It had just reached its perfection. If there is such a bastardisation of the English language, then that's it. What a shame. Right, let's get it out. This is without doubt the nicest thing I've ever had in that wet and dry. Right, let's put it in there. Oh, I lost a little bit because left the tap open. Not quite as bad as I expected. About 11 litres. I must have drunk more of it than I thought, but it was bloody good. So, we are now left with possibly the worst day ever in my brewing in my brewing career, of having to chuck a couple of lots of brews away. Actually, I'm wondering, boys and girls, does anybody know whether I could use that as plant food for these potatoes? Fucking hell. Get a grip, you twat. These tomatoes. Or would it just kill them? I don't know whether I want to take the chance. I'll wait. I'll put it in another bucket somewhere and store it. If it's only 10 litres, I got some 10 litre buckets somewhere. Right, give that a clean out, give the hose a clean out, then get us mop. Look at that. So it's a rather erect mop. Right. Get cleaning that out. Oh, it's so sad. That is without doubt the cleanest I think this has ever been since I got it. Where the CO2 bottle sits, there's quite a lot of corrosion come off the bottom of the CO2 bottle. I'm loath to put any wood down there because this only just, if you have a look, clears so that I can close the lid. It might be that I just live with that, or put a little piece of rubber matting down or something. But right, that's cleaned. The all the pipes and everything are soaking. I was going to take all these out, but realistically I only cleaned them a couple of months ago, so they're all right. And I do clean the pipes, clean my tubes out every week or 2 weeks, so they're reasonably clean. Right, a bit of rubber down there or something. I've got some rubber. Big, thick, black rubber. Oh, come on. You've got to allow me a little bit of smutty indulgence. Bloody hellfire. God, I don't have enough. Jesus, that's thick old rubber, that, isn't it? God. Shan't be using those scissors for dressmaking again. Right. That's better. Nice clean Keezer. It might be a good idea just to sort of like go over this a little bit for people who don't know how all this works. Really, it's ever so simple. This is an STC 1000, And all this does, it can switch heat and cooling. All this does is switch on the Keezer, which is always on the main thing, it's always on, but this controls the mains going to it. So in other words, this is a little bit like you'd have a plug-in timer, and you program it, and there's a sensor down there in that there which measures in a pool at water the temperature in here. So when this drops to the right temperature, it turns the power off to the freezer. Simple as that. When it gets warmer, that turns it back on and makes it go cold again. You can tell when it's working because the light's on and it's making a noise. Gas chained up, because I'm always iffy about gas bottles, because I've seen a couple of videos where they've fallen over and broken and then turned into missiles. It's always a bit iffy. So this comes out into a Kegland Mark IV regulator from Brew Keg Tap into a 4-way from Brew Keg Tap. This I set the maximum temperature that I want for the kegs on here, and for some that I want on a lower serving pressure, I have these 4 secondary regulators which then come out and go to the kegs. Then out of the kegs, the bullocks, the black bullocks connect. See, it's reached the temperature now, the light's gone out. So I know that that's probably down to about 7. Oh yeah, bang on 7, thank you. They're now into the John Guest fittings onto the back of the taps. It really, really is as simple as that. There's no real rocket science to this. The only addition that I've put in here are these fans, one of which I've just noticed ain't working. But those two are shoving enough air around. It doesn't really, it's not essential, but it does create a little bit of air movement in there. I have to check why that one's fucking bust now, aren't I? There you are. So that's good. I can start now. I've cleaned all the bits and bobs. I can start reassembling it all and getting, I'm putting 6 kegs back in. That will leave me space for 2 more at a later date, but it does also mean I'm going to have to, because that's gone, and that's gone. So that I'll replace with the Power Surge IPA, and that'll leave me 2 spare taps. What a fucker. That was great as well. It was nice, sessionable, fresh summer. But if there's only 10 litres in that bucket, it means I've drunk more of it than I realised. Because it was pucker, it was good. Right, let's get this loaded again. Clean as a baby's, don't know. All back in. Giving the lines a final clean. Essentially, I fill one of those little 2 litre cheap as chips, wouldn't put beer in it, but it's fine for line cleaner. Mini kegs, so squirt that through all the taps, give it half an hour, and then give it a really good flush through. This isn't cheap as chips, this is a good quality, lovely Kegland 5 litre mini keg, available from Brew Keg Tap. And full disclosure, they haven't paid me to say that. So we are now 28 minutes, I'm going to give it half an hour, 28 minutes away from having the first pull of a pint off this, which was a terrible, terrible waste. So back soon, all back together. All clean, nice clean lines again. So all we need to do now, close the lid, put my favourite bar runner on, get a glass, That one will do. Fill it. That'll do nicely. That's the Tinipa, the Timmy inspired New England IPA. And that only leaves one thing now to do on this beautiful summer evening on Sheffield Canal. Oh, God, that's good. Yeah. Right, well, there you go, boys and girls. There's a lesson to you all, which is check your ball locks on a regular basis. I know. What can you say? It's too easy. I know, I'm losing my touch. I'm not half as subtle as I used to be. A few more of those. That will sort it. Anyway, on a serious note, actually, do you know what, boys? Check your bollocks as well. I know I joke about this sort of thing, and it's easy to say check your ball locks on a regular basis, but it's also important to not joke about some things like that, and it is important to check your bollocks on a regular basis. It's no secret, my first battle, I don't like that term, battle. My first experience of cancer was actually a testicular cancer, and I had to have one ripped off, and it's called a radical orchidectomy. And actually, the process was very, very simple, and the chemotherapy afterwards wasn't too bad either. The thing with all forms of cancer is if you catch it early enough, you stand a very good chance of getting rid of it. The worst thing about cancer is the word cancer. Don't be frightened if you get any unusual feelings in your bollocks or anywhere else, any unusual lumps, especially in your bollocks. It's worth a quick call to your GP. Even with the COVID lockdown, your GP would sooner see you than not, because if we catch it soon enough, there's a more chance of curing it than not. And mine was 22 years ago, my first bout. I've had a few other things to deal with since then, but not related to that. It's just been a bit bad luck. But check your ball locks and check your bollocks. If you like all this ball locks that I post, and I'm very conscious that I've taken up a huge amount of your time in this little video, I'm going to drink some more of this. If you like this rubbish, please consider subscribing to my little channel, because it'd be lovely to have you. And hopefully for people who are still not at work or might still be shielding or whatever, I hope these little videos of mine are a welcome alternative to daytime television. I tried daytime television once, and people ask me why I do so many drugs. Anyway, thanks for watching. I hope this has been fun, informative and funky and everything, and worth subscribing to the channel for. If you like my sort of rubbish, then please feel free to click the little thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Oh, I've said all that. Oh God, I'm losing it. I think this might be a very, very strong New England IPA. But there you go. Right, that's it for now. Honestly, really, I'm turning the camera off now.